So Amazon's The Lord of the Rings of Power has finally been officially greenlit and renewed for season 3 on Prime Video. So this is the third season, which is now in pre-production, and it's going to have a new home base, Shepperton Studios, just outside of London. The new season is expected to begin shooting this spring. So, Johnny, before I get your reactions, I just want to read from the official page at the Rings of Power on X. They've revealed a small look into what season 3 will look like. And they say, quote, jumping forward several years from the events of season 2, season 3 takes place at the height of the War of the Elves and Sauron, as the Dark Lord seeks to craft the one ring that will give him the edge he needs to win the war and conquer all Middle-earth at last. So, general reactions, Johnny, and also what do you make of this time jump that they've mentioned?
Well, first of all, can you just tell me again what you meant that it has a new home to somewhere outside London? Is that is that a new shooting, like where they're going to be shooting scenes in like a studio, or what do you mean?
Yeah, look, I don't recall the name of the last studio that they were shooting at.
Because season 2 was in England
Studios
as well, wasn't it?
Season 2 was in England. Season 1 was in New Zealand. This is just outside of London. It's called Shepperton Studios.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
but it's expected to begin shooting this spring.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Initial thoughts.
Finally.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I mean, we knew it was going to get renewed. It's been kind of just like waiting for that news to drop. Yeah, I know. To be honest, I haven't read up a whole pile. I haven't seen too many reactions of different people online, but I think I heard one or two people saying that there's loads of people complaining about there being a time jump and all this kind of stuff. And it's not a huge time jump. Like, what is it? It's like, it'll be like 90 years, I think. Is there 90 years between when Sauron leaves Eregion and then he forges the One Ring? So
yeah, but like I this is what I'm confused about, because like obviously the show, for everyone knows that the show has condensed several thousand years of Tolkien's second age of Middle Earth into like a very, very brief time span. So I'm not sure how jumping ahead just like several years, as it mentions here, really matters at this point, because like,
no,
because think about it, like you just mentioned 90 years there. Like, are the Harfords going to age? Like, are the Númenóreans? Like, obviously the elves.
I didn't think about the Harfords. This is great news. They're not going to be around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's just going to be like, oh, we're jumping forward so that, like, for instance, I think we'll just see Sauron in Mordor, like at the height of his powers, and then we'll also possibly see Rivendell, maybe, like already.
Just like
kind of grown, and
because again, like there's built. We know it's 5 seasons of a series, and it sounds like a lot, but in reality, it's not that long. Especially when, like, in seasons 1 and 2, they had so many storylines that, like, you didn't feel like any of the storylines were like significantly well developed, and like you didn't feel like there was a huge pile of movement from one arc through the last 2 seasons. So 5 seasons is not enough to be able to kind of. We don't need to see Sauron arriving back in Mordor again, starting to like kind of workshop a few rings, a few ideas, and then eventually kind of go, I'm going to do this ring and whatever, and then like take ages to develop that as well. It makes sense just be like, a few moments later and just be like, there he is now, and again, I know that there are people are kind of going, but then why did they do the whole time compression thing? Look, I don't like the time compression thing as much as anyone, but there's a big difference between saying, okay, we can't shoot 3,000 years, but we can just kind of like jump ahead every like 90 years or so, and that's fine. And again, it's like the main characters that are involved, 90 years is nothing. Like, so, they're not going to, it's not going to make a difference to them. And even the Númenóreans, it's not nothing, but like they'll still be around and it'll still be like the same characters.
Yeah, true. Like, obviously, we'll talk about Isildur in an upcoming episode, but like he lived to 234, so 90 years is not even half his life. So I doubt it will be 90 years. I'd say it could be like 20 years later. Yeah.
But anyway, I agree with what you said, that like instead of just seeing them like spending a whole 1 or 2 episodes on like, oh, let's start building up Rivendell and let's start, Sauron building up his armies. It's better just be like, jump into season 3 and okay, we're in the thick of it now. Sauron has this huge army amassed. They're all like, you know, the orcs in seasons 1 and 2, they were kind of had their own thing going on. And season 2, they're like, at the end, they were like, oh, we're going to revolt against Adar because we want to be doing our own thing. And we saw kind of orc babies and stuff, which was a bit dodge. But I think in season 3, it's like just that's all gone. And now they're all just, you know, they just follow Sauron. They've got no desire to do their own thing. They've got no second thoughts of their own. They're only just following his will, and they're completely under his dominion. So I think it's good to just be like, look, that's just the way it is now. And Rivendell is also coming into a bit of its own power, and you know, Elrond is now, you know, at the helm.
Married to Galadriel. Yeah. No, maybe you're right. Maybe this is kind of like, look, they wrote themselves into a corner. And they kind of shot themselves in the foot, and they're like, oh, let's just do a few moments late there. And it's just like, oh, the orcs all just obey Sauron. There's none of that carry on anymore. You could be right. I was going to mention how like the 3 elven rings should be made at the time, or even just before the One Ring. I think it's about like 10 years before the One Ring is being made. So like they've completely messed up the order of the rings, and like we still never really got any conclusion to why they changed the order there, and it didn't really make sense. But
so what happened, just to be very quick with that, was that Sauron, or when he was Anatar, he was with Celebrimbor, and they were in Eregion together, and they spent about 300 years developing this idea for the 3 rings. Then they eventually went on to forge 16 rings together. Then Sauron left, and in the period that he was gone, they developed the 3 new elven rings, and then Sauron developed the One Ring. And so and that's kind of what was going on there.
I just want to read out this little piece here from Variety magazine. So it says, The Lord of the Rings of Power continues to captivate audiences worldwide, and we're thrilled that a 3rd season is underway, said Vernon Sanders, head of television for Amazon MGM Studios. The creative team has an extraordinary vision of what's to come, with stories that have left us enchanted and enthralled. We look forward to continuing this epic journey for our global customers, delving even deeper into the legendary tales that shaped Middle-earth. Charlotte Brandstrom, who was a co-executive producer and directed multiple episodes in season 1 and 2, will be an executive producer and director for the 3rd season. Sana Hamri will also return to direct, with veteran director Stefan Schwartz joining the series as well. The Lord of the Rings of Power is Hale's showrunners and executive producers J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. Lindsay Weber, Justin Doble, Kate Hazel and Brandstrom also executive produce. Matthew Penry Davey is producer, and Ali O'Leary, Tim Keane and Andrew Lee are co-producers. So there we know. There we have it. We have like a couple of the producers, directors confirmed for season 3 as well. So
do they have any sort of a time frame or anything? Or you said that they're going to be shooting in March?
That's not even confirmed. I think it's expected that they'll start shooting in spring, but unconfirmed. I'm guessing it'll be probably a similar like September release date in 2026. I don't know about you, but like if shooting only starts now in like a month's time or 2 months time, then a long
the post-production is a long process as well.
But before we finish this little podcast, just last minute expectations for season 3. Obviously now we have the confirmation that Sauron will craft the One Ring, presumably with Feanor's hammer. Any other things? I've got 2 more things written down here. Probably an introduction of Anarion, maybe team up with Elendil and Isildur, and probably Ar-Pharazôn will capture Sauron. But
I really hope that they just do fewer stories and write those stories and stick to those stories well, and try to just develop those, like get fewer characters as well, and kind of go, okay, we're going to focus on Pharazôn and I don't know, whatever. I hope that Numenor is paid better attention and better respect in the next upcoming season. I think it was just we heard so much about how loads of it was just left on the cutting floor from last season as well, and that's it's just not good enough, really. That you don't like. There's no point in half-assing it, and like if you're not going to tell us the story in a proper way, just cut the whole thing out and be like, okay, we'll just do all of Numenor next season or whatever. And it's like, and then instead like putting in things of, like I said, the other episode, talking about how Isildur was just relegated to hanging out in Pelargir and not getting any screen time and having this weird love arc which didn't go anywhere and was just completely unnecessary and kind of painted him out to be like a homewrecker as well. And I was like, what? Yeah. What's the purpose of this? It's not pushing and developing the story in any way. Just forget all that screen time and focus on the fewer stories and try and get them, just get all the beats to be lining up correctly and just, I don't know, just get it more coherent, please.
Yeah, I completely agree. I put in my little predictions of what I hope to happen for like the main story plots, but like I didn't even bother talking about the hobbits or, obviously Gandalf now, he's probably going to fight that dark blue wizard or Saruman or whoever that guy is going to be. But I don't care about that. I'd be happy to just those things go by the wayside and we just get a fresh season of just those three big plot lines, I suppose.
Can you imagine just season 3 was just Numenor? Like it was just a TV show about what happened in Numenor. I'm just like, that'd be great,
I know, yeah, that would.
And like that's like there's enough there. Like that's all. Like there's enough plotting and subplotting that could be going on there, and and just it could be an almost kind of Game of Thrones-esque. I hate when people say like, why are you saying comparing it to Game of Thrones? Just
but the plotting and scheming is
the plotting and scheming and the politics. Yeah, exactly. And the way that Farazan is kind of one step ahead of the rest of the people, and he's a really intelligent man. He's really clever, and he's overthrowing from the inside, kind of. So that could be really well done.
Bit of the darkness as well of Numenor, of like we see in the books, how there's sacrifices of the faithful to Melkor, all that kind of stuff would be so...
It's been a bit too pantomime up to now, really.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see like how dark Numenor can get. And yeah, you're right. I think it's a little bit more like, they're taking our jobs and they never grow old. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah, that was stupid.
He's behind you!
Yeah, just with their stupid haircuts and like...
No, man. Yeah. But anyways, I think that's we should wrap up there. It's only a short little episode.
On that positive note.
On that positive note. Guys, go check out tomorrow. We will be releasing the final episode of Season 3 of The Rings of Power. Season 3 of The Council of Elrond by the Mellon Heads. So this isn't the last episode. So make sure you go and check out that episode that comes out tomorrow. And please subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a review. Give us a rating. Also get us a coffee if you would like to do that. That would be very nice. But yeah, we'll see you next time. We'll see you tomorrow, guys, on The Council of Elrond.
I take my coffee black. Thanks.